The David referenced in this passage that Andrew read is the psalmist. And the quote is from the 16th Psalm. Hear what David said to God. You know, it may feel a little bit odd to have moved into the season of Easter, a season of celebration while living out these difficult days. Yesterday, I was with a gathering of clergy online, and one of the pastors said that we left Easter and entered right back into Lent, because that's kind of the way it feels sometimes. But the fact that we're in this time of reflection is a good opportunity to really take into consideration that at the heart of our Christian faith, we are called to live our lives in the belief that death is not the last word. This is why Christians are called Easter people. The tomb becomes the womb of new life. We are loved by God beyond all endings. There is nothing to fear. And with this knowledge, what will we do differently moving forward through this Easter season this year? Today, I can sort of imagine that Jesus is here at our right hand, counseling us throughout our days, saying these words, "Peace be with you." This is what he did when he appeared to the disciples after the resurrection. They were locked in a room, fearing for their lives. Sound familiar? Well, let's let Jesus speak these words to us as well. Here is how the story from the Gospel of John goes. It was still the first day of the week. That evening, while the disciples were behind closed doors because they were afraid, Jesus came through the closed door and stood among them. And he said, "Peace be with you." And after he said these words, he showed them his hands and his side. And when the disciples saw their Lord, they were filled with incredible joy. Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As Abba, God, sent me, so I am sending you." And then he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit." Two things Jesus wanted the disciples to get in their moment of fear. One was peace, and the other was the breath of the Spirit to surround them. Jesus wanted to see what he offered them. He wanted them to take his very breath into their lives so that they would feel his Spirit living inside of them. You know, in John's Gospel, we hear Jesus tell his disciples that he wants us all to feel peace. Think about what sights, what sounds, what words, what actions are things that act in your life as the voice in your ear that says, "Peace be with you." When have you felt peace in this past week, through Holy Week and into Easter and now into the week that follows? If you haven't experienced very much peace, then what do you have in your memory stored away as something that brings you peace? One of the traditions that we practice at Harwinton Congregational Church every Sunday is the passing of the peace. It's quite an event. And maybe you are missing that passing of peace. But we can't pass the peace like we usually do in this form, so I'm going to invite you to say these words: peace be with you. If you have several people with you, let it go around your group, right there where you are worshiping. If you are alone, text someone now that you want to share that with, or if you're not a person who uses text or can't text right now, plan to make a call or send an email when our worship time is over and tell someone, peace be with you. It's a very hard time right now for us as prayer givers. We need to be intercessors on behalf of all kinds of people. People in our church, people in our town, people who have passed away, people who are struggling with this virus. And so we want to call to mind not only the people that we know and the situations and the people that we love, but we want to call to our minds the people that we cannot even name, those whose names we do not know. But we know they need our prayers, and they need God's comfort. For those who have lost loved ones, for those who are sick and recovering, for those who are caring for loved ones who are sick at home, for all those on the front lines, the doctors, the nurses, the paramedics, and all the other first responders who are caring for people with medical need. For all of our leaders who are having every day to make difficult decisions with hardly any information. For those who are separated from loved ones. For those who are feeling very alone and isolated. For those who are helping and who are very, very tired. For those who are struggling to shelter and to comfort others. For those who are afraid. Let us take another breath of spirit as we know that God hears our prayers, and the Spirit, the very breath of God, is blowing outward to surround us and to fill us with compassion and presence. Lord Jesus, we know that you are present among us, even in our own home. Help us to not let fear be louder than love, but with glad hearts and rejoicing souls, let us sing your praise, for we are Easter people. Amen. Right now, the world needs, and what all of us need, is that message that Jesus shared with his disciples. You are not alone. I am here. Peace be with you. What can we do to create more peace in our households, in our family, in our relationships with those we cannot be with right now? How can we offer peace to those essential workers who are working so hard right now? How can we offer peace to those who feel no peace and comfort? These are questions that I charge you to answer and to think about and to talk with your family at home, to be able to reflect on the words of Jesus. For I am with you. Peace I give to you, my peace. As we close this time we have shared together, I want you to remember that God is always with you. No matter what you face, no matter what trials or hardships may come your way, God is right there beside you, whispering, "Peace be with you," guiding and directing your every step, your every thought, your every breath. We are Easter people. We do not live in fear, but in great joy. Take heart. This is the heart of the matter. Amen.